Welcome to another edition of Pirates Two Wheels Adventure with me, MSP. This week we're taking a look at the Spanish two-wheel manufacturer, Silence. Silence was born in Barcelona in 2011 and was the brainchild of a man with a deep-rooted relationship with the two-wheel world. Carlos Sotelo is the founder of Silence, and off-road rally racing fans may know his name from some of the toughest off-road races on the planet. With 8 Dakar Rally entries under his belt and a career best finish of 3rd place in the world's toughest off-road race, riding a Lucky Strike KTM, Sotelo was one of the Spanish riders that, with the help of Mark Kermo, pushed the Dakar into the mainstream. With a history like that, you'd have thought that a move into the world of off-road and enduro racing would be on the cards, but Sotelo chose a very different route. Sotelo chose to set up Silence, and starting with a team of less than 10 staff, they set out to produce 125 equivalent scooters, and by 2019 they were the Spanish market leader in the L3E 125 comparable and L1E 50cc equivalent electric motorcycle class, and were producing around 20,000 units per year. The brand has grown to become the largest specialist electric motorcycle producer in Europe and has 66% of the Spanish market and 30% of the overall European market. The modern step-through design, simple twist-and-go throttle, effortless performance and signature click-and-go portable battery is incredibly popular across the streets of Europe, and the 4-model family offers a great choice for businesses, commuters and scooter lovers who want to go electric. Silence UK launched in April this year, opening a flagship store and headquarters in Solihull. The brand is in the process of appointing multiple agents across the UK and has already announced partners in Aberdeen, Norfolk, Belfast and Twickenham. And today VoltsMonster has travelled to Silence Solihull HQ, so let's take a look inside and see what they've got to offer. So welcome to a VoltsMonster review. We're at the Silence headquarters here in Solihull in Birmingham. Silence has been in the UK since April 2021, I believe. We're joined by Tony Lewis, one of the founding directors of Silence here in the UK. So Tony, can you tell us a little bit about the UK team that you've got here on board?
Yeah, we believe we've got quite an ideal blend. 2 of us, myself and John Edwards, who've got a lot of automotive background.
Yep.
In fact, nearly all of John's career with JLR and MG and Rover before that. He was the director of JLR just before retiring. Myself, I've been with Ford Motor Company, LDV, Nissan, ran a Volkswagen business and then ran Nissan's retail arm for a while. Then we've got Kevin Duck, who's been a serial entrepreneur since he was a very young man in the early days in the internet space, in the digital space, importing motor vehicles as well as engineering. And then Mike Rose, who up until recently owned his own marketing agency called Chapter, who were very successful, did work for Bentley and Nissan. So a lot of people in a lot of automotive space, and then we've been joined recently by Gabby Whitfield as a board member, and again she's had JLR experience, Nissan, Mitsubishi, and John and I have both worked with her in the past, so she's been a great addition to the team.
Fantastic. And one of the most distinctive features of the Silence bikes is the removable battery pack here. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how that came about?
Yeah, I think that's the heart of this bike. Obviously it's the thing that drives the bike, but it's its unique feature.
Yeah. No
other e-Moto in this class has got anything like that.
Sure.
So it's easily detachable. It's one click from under the seat.
Yeah.
The battery is then easily removed. Wheels drop down as if it's like an airport bag. Handle comes up and you can take it therefore into the office, into your house, into McDonald's if you're in there for an hour and you want to top up the battery, or basically anywhere.
Okay.
It's a unique proprietary battery to Silence as well, so designed and built in Spain.
Right.
Again, they've got a unique battery management system that goes with it.
Yeah.
So as you probably know, cold kills battery cells.
Yes, yeah.
So there's a preheat unit on this battery.
Right.
It won't charge until it's heated to a certain level. And equally, when the battery is in the bike, if you're damaging that with overheating, persistent riding at very high power, in high temperatures, it will start to manage the speed of the bike to bring the battery back under control.
Back under temperature.
But it really is the unique element of the bike, and something that obviously renders the bike hugely safe in terms of anti-theft. When you take the battery out of it, you're taking the heart and the power out of the bike, and you take it home with you.
Definitely. And I guess sort of looking at the size of the battery, I mean, how much do these weigh, the battery bags?
Yeah, it's about 40 kilograms.
40 kilos. So looking at the location that it is in the bike, it's quite low and centred in there, so in terms of handling, that's probably a benefit as well.
Yeah, one of the things, I mean, I've been a biker for many years. One of the great things about this bike is the centre of gravity is really low. The handling on it is superb, and that height, it's in the middle, it's really low and it's really heavy. Sure. And the handling is superb on them.
No nasty shocks and corners.
No. The other thing is it democratises EVs for people, because in the early days of EV, you had to have off-road parking.
Yeah.
You don't have to have off-road parking. You could live on the 17th floor of a block of flats, as long as there's a lift, and take that home with you. We can now give EVs to people who couldn't possibly think about it before.
Yeah, no, that's great, fantastic. Tony, can you tell us a little bit about the range of models you've got on offer from Silence?
Yeah, we start with the SO2 low speed, as it's called. That's the traditional 50cc sector of the bike market.
Okay. Yeah.
So it can be driven by 16-year-olds and plus, or people who don't do much mileage, I guess. Yeah. Probably ideal in the motorhome world as well. We've sold them to people who are putting them on the back of their motorhomes. It's a bike that's limited to 30 miles an hour, so that it can be accessible for them. And in its lowest form, in the 2 kilowatt-hour battery, then its range is about 35 miles. So it really is a local commuter that replaces, I guess, the old mopeds that you and I probably had as kids. But that's the entry-level bike, and it's £2,695, including VAT on the road, which is fabulous. The next one up is the low speed but the long range. Okay. So basically we fit the 5.6 kilowatt-hour battery into the low speed, and it gives it a range of over 90 miles. Right. Which is then into the business sector, ideal for those who are delivering all day in London.
Delivery purposes, etc.
Yeah. And that's 3,595. Again, a really great price point for something that can do that mileage.
Definitely.
Again, restricted to the 30 miles an hour. But some businesses see that as a key benchmark for actually minimising damage to their bikes while they're delivering. Others will want to go further and have a higher output, which is the next bike that we've got, which is the SO2 High Speed, which is our 125cc equivalent bike. Right. Again, it's really for the business market. Yeah. It's the one that Silence first launched. They supplied that into the Spanish Post Office and the police, and they've really trialled those vehicles. They've had a hard life, but that's where they were proven to be really successful. Okay. That's got 56 mile an hour limited top speed, and again over 85 miles as its range, and can carry ridiculous cube of weight. We've got a 350 litre box that can sit on the back of that, which means people can do home deliveries in sort of any of the cities. Right. And then the next in the range is this, which is the SO1. It's our flagship model. Yep. It's got the 5.7 kilowatt hour battery. It's got a 7 kilowatt motor, peaks at 9 kilowatt. It's limited to 62 miles an hour. Yep. It'll do an 80 mile range in eco. That's 60 to 70 in city, and probably 65 miles in sport if that's what you want to do. Right. But you find that around town that actually those ranges change quite dramatically. They hold in many cases because you're just not using the full range and power of the bike. But this is our flagship model. It's 4995. If you think of those ranges, in the early days of Nissan selling Leaf, I was there, and those equivalent cars were doing 80 to 100 miles range. People kept them to 60 miles an hour because of the sort of limiting the drain on the batteries. You've now got a 125cc equivalent two-wheeler that will do 80 miles at 62 miles an hour as well. So, really outstanding bike.
It is. I mean, just to give it a comparison, I've just ridden the Zero DS, and the range on that was about 100 miles, but I was below 60 for most of that time, and averaging between 50 and 55 miles an hour on a motorway is not much fun. So to get a range on this for a bike this size is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, what we do find with it as well is, like all electric vehicles, you've got instant torque.
Yep.
So that the power's available instantaneously. It does 0 to 30 in 3.9 seconds, which for a little two-wheeler is outstanding.
It's good.
Gets you away from the lights. That's not in any hooligan way, but it's
Yep.
just a great way of getting away from the traffic, keeping you out of trouble.
Definitely, yeah, and that's all about defensive riding. So
Absolutely.
yeah, good. And we're going to be I've got the LSO one for a week's review next week. So I'm going to be riding one of these little things for a week, and really looking forward to that one and reporting back on the review on it. So it's I'm impressed with these. I think I'm going to have a fun week ahead of me.
I'm sure you will. It always puts a smile on my face, and I have a number of other bikes, but both Kevin and myself, one of the directors who is a big rider, we love taking these out. 3 things you might want to look out for. Obviously, you've got the 3 modes, so you've got Eco, City and Sport.
Yep.
You might want to start off in Eco, as I advise all my friends to do. Then bring it back, put it in Sport and see the difference, because it is dramatically different. You've got the regenerative braking, so you're on the right brake and you'll feel a little bit of a judgment.
So that's driven by the front brake.
Yeah. So one, no impact, that's just the dual brake,
Yep.
but the right one is the regen braking, and you will feel that. There's also a reverse mode, which is the little green button, just one word, which is fabulous utilisation of electric vehicle and electric motor.
Yeah.
It's there because it can be there.
It
Comes for free effectively, which is ideal. But shut off the throttle before releasing the button. Common mistake that
It'd be a bit of a surprise otherwise.
Common mistake we've made is to reverse, then take hand off the button and shoot towards the wall. But it's great, and in tight spaces in cities, how many times do you find yourself, in the wrong place?
Yeah, downhill and trying to get out, and on a bigger bike, trying to manoeuvre backwards on an incline is a nightmare. So
and they've all got it, which I think the other one is, if you're a delivery rider and you've got 350 litres, even if it's 100 kgs on the back, then you've got a motor to get you out of a parking space or out of trouble.
Fantastic. Recently there's been a massive flood of e-scooters and e-bikes from the Asian markets. So some potential customers might have concerns about reliability. How does this compare to them, and how can you reassure potential customers of the reliability of silent scooters?
I think one of the first things, the founder of Silence, Carlos Sotero, decided that there was no bike designed for Europeans, which is an interesting point. We're a slightly bigger bunch of guys and girls, aren't we? So this is uniquely designed for Europeans to ride.
Right.
So they are slightly bigger than you'll find of those coming from the Asian market. And again, the heart of this is all designed, engineered and built in Europe. So there's no Asian element to it. And the heart of the bike is that battery, which is their patented and proprietary technology. It takes Samsung cells, which are obviously the best in the world, packages them in its aluminium casing, puts them in that detachable form, and has that unique battery management system. As I say, they started with the delivery bikes. So if you're going to test anything, then as everybody knows in Britain, give it to a postie, they'll test it. And they've proved incredibly reliable. Their own tests and out in use show that the first bikes that did 27 to 30,000 kilometres had 428 cycle charges with still 97% battery capacity. And today they've just sent us information from one of the other delivery companies that they've had, who've had bikes since 2017. They've just covered 100,000 kilometres and they're at 87% battery capacity.
That's incredible.
And that's well over 1,500 charging cycles, you would imagine. So they've just ordered their next batch, of course, but the first one's still going.
Still going.
And that's the beauty of the electric motor. It's limited moving parts. Servicing is all about torquing, safety. No oil. It just keeps going.
Exactly. And I guess there's the added endorsement is I believe that the Volkswagen Group have licensed the SO1 as the Seat Moto. I think, is it?
That's right. Yeah, there's an SO1 version manufactured and distributed by Seat.
It's all right. I'm going to go back down anyway.
Thankfully, but it says a lot about the bike, doesn't it? The quality and the engineering due diligence.
Precisely.
If the Volkswagen Group have taken this on, and we'd second that. This is a really well engineered, well designed and built bike. Equally, our parts are coming from Europe, and we're readily available via our store and through our agents. The warranty's great on these. So the body has got a 2-year warranty, the battery's got a 3-year warranty,
Right.
and we put 2 years free AA roadside cover on the bike as well.
Right.
So far, not used once.
So that added
Yeah.
reassurance,
The only
which
thing-
they're
the only
highly
thing-
unlikely to use.
Yeah, and the only thing it doesn't cover is if you run out of battery, because we're not
Yeah.
paying for that. You should have charged it.
Yeah, I've been in that situation the other day, but yeah.
Yeah, but they'll come and help, absolutely. But
Green Flag didn't, no.
right, well, the AA have been absolutely fabulous to us. They fully buy into this anyway.
Yeah.
At the commercial vehicle show shortly, there'll be a AA concept silence. Because again, if you're in London, half the time you need a diagnostic tool and a battery charger, don't you, for a car booster or whatever.
We'll be sure to check that out because we're there with one of our partners and sponsors, PN Energy. So
Good.
we'll check them out at the show and go and say hello.
Yeah.
So looking at a lot of e-scooters on the market at the moment, they've either got large storage space, a large storage space, or big battery capacity. But you managed to squeeze both into the Silence machine. So how do you do that, and just how big is the storage capacity?
Yeah, in this SO1 again, you've got to say that they've designed, a brilliant bike. So again, the battery, as we said, is low down and in a unique position. Therefore, there's then no engine to accommodate. So actually, underneath this seat, you can fit 2 helmets, or as we were challenged to do on LinkedIn when we first launched it, 16 bottles of wine. One of the guys said, "I'll buy it if you can get enough wine under the seat." So we brought 9 bottles. We had to go and buy 7 more. We put 16 in there.
Wow.
Just to show you could actually get a good 3 days shopping, I think.
No, I do
one
mean
of
for a
these.
weekend, I think 60
You
bottles
see.
of wine.
Absolutely. So we're so it's got a great capacity, but also because of the size of the bike, with it being built for Europeans, as you can see from the seat, 2 up is easy as well.
Easy as well.
Yeah. I think a lot of our Far Eastern competition find it hard to seriously get 2 people on and carry goods. Obviously on the business bikes, you've then got massive capacities for the boxes that we've got, and we've got a range from 47, 90, 200 litres to 350 litres.
Wow. 350?
350 litres. The boot on a Fiesta is 267 litres, by the way. So you can think, if you're a business in one of the cities that we now need electric vehicles, or you're doing last mile delivery, these are ideal.
And it's a no-brainer really, and that kind of leads on to our next question, is that there's a lot of UK cities are putting either low emission zones or sort of trying to cut down on congestion. How do you see Silence fitting in with that, as in terms of business model and expansion for you?
Well, what we said was right product, right time, right place, right price as well, because the pandemic's also had an impact. So you've got retail customers who want to abandon the way that they used to get into town. You've now got people going into Birmingham who have to abandon the way they get onto town. I'll never be taking my car in there again. So you've got people who need to commute for work, then these are ideal. Anything from the SO2 low speed, if you're at 16, to this, if you're a little bit more ambitious. But then the businesses in town. I mean, some of the businesses in the centre of Birmingham and then Bath and all the other cities that the clean air zone's being rolled out into, they need a delivery capability. And these offer the perfect opportunity to do that. I saw a florist in Birmingham when we first went clean air zone, and he bought an e-cargo bike with 600 litre capacity, but it looked the most unwieldy, difficult thing to ride around in.
And that was pedal powered, was it?
Pedal and e-powered, but at
well.
sort of 15 miles an hour. And it cost him £5,000.
Wow.
So you could have bought top of the range, put a box on it, you could have bought an SO2 with 350 litres on and delivered quite a lot of flowers. And I'd say more quickly, more efficiently, and be back at depot doing it more times. Don't blame them, they're looking for solutions, and that's the point. People in these cities now need solutions for business and for for their own jobs.
And from where I'm sitting, these just like perfect solution. This is the answer to a massive problem.
And they're actually great in bad weather and the rains that we've been having recently. You just tuck your legs behind there, or indeed you can get some of the curtains and surrounds. But actually the shield keeps most of this off you.
So you do accessories for them, heated grips, etc.
No, we don't do heated grips. We've got much bigger screens, which you can probably see over there. Obviously the top box range. There's all sorts of anti-theft devices that we fit, and of course, probably covering them in, it comes with its own app. as well, which is really useful in that way.
We're going to be exploring that a little bit.
We've got helmets, we've got gloves, we've got all the things you'd expect, and we've got a link into one of our other partners who can supply you absolutely anything by absolutely any brand.
Right, so the app is available on iOS and Android as well, is that right?
Yeah, and it's available as standard on the SO1, as an option on the SO2s, because not everybody wants it. They've got their own apps for their own delivery businesses that they've got. But the app's great, so it will track every journey. As you can imagine, it will map every journey. It will do your average speed, your maximum speed, your speeds on each part of the journey. You can actually turn the bike on and off remotely doing it. So actually, if you were in London and I parked my bike outside Marylebone Station, you had a helmet, you wanted to use it, I could open the bike for you from here.
Okay, right.
And then you can use the bike, and we can also then, when you've got off it, we can turn the bike off.
Turn it back off. It's incredible.
So it's a great bit of kit, and I think it's also really useful, obviously location for anti-theft and such like, but equally any insurance issues you've got. You've got a record of what you were doing. Exactly.
What's going on.
Yeah.
And it's interesting though that with the SO1, the app comes for free, but there's other manufacturers out there like Harley Davidson, for example, like with the Livewire, they actually levy a charge on their app, and I'm not seeing the app and know what it's like or what it does, but it seems like the functionality on yours is perfect.
Yeah, we actually thought that this sort of bike is for that connected community, isn't it? The digital savvy person, which is now not age related.
No.
And we've found that with this bike. I mean, we've sold to people well in their 70s who want an EV, they want a solution. They're probably not riding the bikes that you and I might be riding anymore, but they also want that digital solution. They want the app. So again, it's not an age-related thing at all, but we wanted a connected bike for the sort of world that we're now living in. So everything's fully connected, isn't it?
Sure.
And if you've got a bike that is a digital age bike, then you want an app for it, and that has to come free.
So you've recently partnered with Bennett Superbike League's champion
Lee Jackson,
and you provided him with an SO1 for his paddock bike. Tell us a little bit about that. How's that going?
It's going really well. I mean, Lee approached us. We were happy to do that. Again, many of us are bikers. I've supported the BSB itself through many other guises in other businesses as well. So it was actually nice to get somebody from FS3. They happen to be the Kawasaki team, so our lime green bike worked for them as well.
Perfectly. Not quite the right shade, but
nearly there. If you squint, it's okay. But Lee's a high-profile rider. Again, we've followed him. He's a really great character as well. He's over in Lincoln, where our very first customer comes from. He's a Deliveroo rider who's now done 5,000 miles on his bike in about 6 months. So it's nice that he was there, but we've now supported the rest of the team. So Ryan has also got an SO1, and the crew have got an SO2 low speed for delivering passes to the gate and food and drink and tyres to people. But as a team, it looks really great, and they've been very supportive of us.
So we were having a little chat about this earlier, that now you've got 3 bikes and 3 riders. Like, could we have a little SO1 competition on the circuit, do you think?
We'd love that. What we really like is though that some of our competition are with the other bikes, and not one of them can do this speed. So we did say to Lee and Ryan, you just need to take every other e-bike on that's in the paddock. I don't think there's a 0 there yet. So every other e-Moto or scooter, and see who wins, because they're guaranteed 1st and 2nd place. It's just them battling it out.
Just the battling it out, exactly.
But they obviously we want people to be aware of silence, and both Lee and Ryan and the team give us great social media coverage. And Lee's been golden, and their photographer, as professional as you guys are, he's taking some great snaps. And funnily enough, a friend of mine was at the Brands Hatch race, and he didn't know we'd done any of this, and sent me a snap of Ryan going to various corners on our bike ahead of the race, see if he could go through there a little quicker. But it's been a great association.
Fantastic. So you mentioned like the rain skirts, which go around the SO1s and SO2s. Do you have any other accessories in the range at all?
Our silence accessory range really focuses on windshields and luggage, and security, effectively. So we've got a range of windshields that we can provide. As I say, there's a range of boxes for SO1 and SO2. On SO1 we've got 47 litre boxes for the back. For SO2 we've got 47, 90, 200 and 350 litre boxes.
Wow.
For and these are all for those modern businesses that need electric vehicles in the city. We've got our own helmet range, or Silence have. We've got gloves and shirts, and then we've got access to nearly every other range through a third-party arrangement that we've got. But one of the accessories, it's not really an accessory, but people who do much longer mileage, and this was actually our first sale to a Deliveroo rider who didn't just do the city but was going out of the city.
Right.
He had a daily range of 90 miles.
Right.
So he had a bit of range anxiety, even after he charged it midday. So he just found it easier to buy a second battery. As he said, he now has zero range anxiety. He can cover double what he does in the day, and he just changes his battery at lunchtime and puts the other one back on charge anyway.
Sure.
So people have even turned our battery into an accessory, and we do supply second batteries. The factory do. It's quite a common practice. So you've got SO2 low speed long range that can do 90 miles in a day. But with this, you could do 120 in sport mode, up to 160 in eco mode, if that's what you wanted to do all day. Which
I think I'll stick in sport mode and a little bit more fun for the deliveries. And what sort of cost would a second battery, an idea of?
The maximum price for the 5.6 kilowatt battery, which is the highest that we do, is £2,400 including VAT. People have to remember that's the heart of the bike. So you are buying it twice. Sure. But equally, what it gives you in terms of range and range. And then just not paying for fuel. Again, think of that the Spanish business I talked about that's done 100,000 kilometres and work out how much fuel they've saved.
It's incredible. And I know the sort of other manufacturers are looking at battery swapping schemes, and some of the Far Eastern or Eastern countries are looking at implementing schemes at the moment. Is that something which Silence was?
Silence Spain have built an electric exchange bank, which they're sticking outside stores. That's sort of being piloted in Spain at the moment. Again, you'll get all the traditional issues that people have identified from battery sharing, so you've got to make sure that you're getting the same quality, and you've got the same range that was in it, but their system checks that the capacity's fine. And it's got to come. I'm sure their pilot will work. It's then how we commercially put that into the UK.
Into the UK. Okay, wonderful. And looking at there's a lot of names out there for bikes with this description at the moment, like e-bikes, e-scooters, and e-mopeds. What would you call Silence mopeds or?
We had exactly that problem, and actually the issue is that the stand on illegal scooters have taken the scooter now, because these are scooters. When I was a kid, people go to Brighton, they were on a scooter and it looked like this. So ideally they're scooters, but no, we've got everything from powered two-wheelers to e-motos to scooters. We like to call them effectively e-motos or electric powered two-wheelers. But it's hard when somebody's actually stolen the name. It's like they're a scooter for me.
Me too. And I think to close on is that I'm really looking forward to testing the SO1 next week. Give me a little taste of what I can expect.
You'll get a big smile on your face. Anybody who's ever ridden one actually comes back with a big smile, and that includes Kevin and myself when we first got on one. We went out into Solihull. We were amazed by the torque and that instant power, the ability to get away from the lights, as I said before, get yourself out of trouble, and if you're anywhere near trouble, to get yourself out of trouble again. The three things again just to look out for: regen braking, and just see how it works and what it can actually do for you. The reverse button, but again, be very careful.
All practice wheelies.
Throttle off, and the absolute power and the delivery of that power. And around town, nothing will keep up with you. If you're in a city, nothing can. Auto Express recently did a competition, a bit of a Top Gear challenge. They took an SO1, they took an E push bike, and they took one of Volkswagen's Up, I think, to get from one side of London into the centre. And this beat both of the other means by 40 minutes.
40 minutes,
Yeah.
right.
He then went back out to guide the cycle back to where they were meeting. We did actually say to the journalist, if you don't win this hands down, you're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
But it just shows what it's, it gets to the front of the queue, it gets to the front of the lights, and it gets away quicker than anything else. But safely, it's not a hooligan bike, it's just a great delivery of power, so I think you'll love it. If you're not smiling within 10 minutes, I'll be amazed.
I'm really looking forward to it, and and we'll keep the VoltsMonster viewers up to date on the review and what's happening, and really looking forward to that, and I'm sure I'm going to have a really big smile. So Tony, thank you very much for your time. It's been a real pleasure, and good luck with Silence in the UK.
Great. No, thank you for taking the time to come and visit us. It's been a pleasure. Thanks.